how should we call this? Young devs, eh?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Young Devs channel. And I'm Gumya Anthony, a Kotlin developer, and he is.
My name is Abel. I am mainly focused in Flutter. That's where I find that's what I find myself doing, the framework.
Okay. Today, this is our first video to put out there. But this YouTube channel literally empowers young devs, literally in the space of technology, and most especially within the world of AI. As AI came in, the boom, all that within the tech. And we are trying to see how we can blend in within the new tech. And specifically, as a Kotlin developer, I go more in Kotlin to see the new trends, how they are moving, and in Flutter.
I just staying up to date with the latest technologies, as things are moving pretty fast. This new era, like today you wake up, your developers are working on new packages, Google is updating their framework. So you realize it's like updates rolling quite like fast.
And the topic today is like we want to see Flutter versus Kotlin. What do you think? Like a young developer from maybe some city there, maybe trying to learn a language, or maybe he would like to enter into a space of developing. What should they start with? Should they start with Flutter or should they start with Kotlin? And those, I think, have been mostly the questions that developers are asking themselves right now. Because Kotlin has, as you know, it has Kotlin Multiplatform. Not only as using this Jetpack stuff, which was only native, but now there's also Kotlin Multiplatform. So, as a Flutter developer, what do you think? Before I give you my review.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, this is a question whereby it's like responses are too dynamic, but I'm going to speak from an African point of view. Yes, like which resources are readily available for tech starters like students like we are. Something that is much more economical, readily available in terms of customer support, in terms of development tools, the ease of access and all these things. And I believe even by looking at what other developers have to offer regarding that same topic, they just base all their decisions based on some of these characteristics. Now, another thing that affects the decisions that most developers make is, I think it's fast exposure.
Fast exposure.
Yeah, that's not, because I would argue that most of us attended the basic classes of programming, but to make this kind of more useful, you had to look at the tools that everyone in the world is using at a specific time. So that's where the frameworks come in, yes, for building and stuff. But I would argue that for a person like me, I got exposed to Flutter. Yeah, fast forward. I don't know about you.
Now, okay. So now, Mr. Ibo, I think that's a real good review when it comes to the area of Flutter. And now we are seeing that Flutter is really a good thing for starters. You haven't been programming and it's really fast. So as soon as you get maybe...
It's within the Google ecosystem.
Google ecosystem.
Like, everything is just readily available for it.
So now here, this is where we bring in this Kotlin aspect. So I think in my own perspective, Kotlin is a statically typed language. And it was developed by the same folks that did the IntelliJ. So and it was also endorsed by Google way back in 2019. So later it has come a long way, but as of recent, it released Kotlin Multiplatform, which is a framework for cross-platform apps, building them literally. So this is what I will be talking about, cross-platform literally. That it has tried to come into the space where Flutter, React.js, all those cross-platform frameworks. So it has the folks of JetBrains were like, hey, we are here, so we also want to do cross-platform. And when you're trying to see about Kotlin Multiplatform, it's not like only about sharing UI. So there is this thing that if you have a logic or you have the business logic, then maybe I can say maybe there were already existing logic, maybe for an application, and then you find like we have iOS developers, we have maybe Android developers. So later you can customize the business logic, and then you're like, okay, you will create the UI in Swift and you'll create the UI in Jetpack, but still we can share the business logic. So this is where it brings in the performance issues right now.
Because you have to write the most optimized code
align with the specific platform SDKs, no?
Sure.
Like if you're Android, you can Android SDK. If you're iOS, that's the same thing. So now that brings in the working and the faster for Kotlin multi-platform. But then here comes Kotlin Compose multi-platform. So later you write code once and you share it via different applications. This is where I think of recent JetBrains made it to be better for iOS. Android was stable, but iOS just being stable recent. And then we're still JetBrains still having a long way to deal with the web. Because right now the web framework, where they use the YSIM, it's kind of still in the alpha stage. It's a little bit slower, but they are doing. They spend. I usually see the podcasts there at YouTube, and the guys are like, "Oh, we are working on this new frameworks," and I'm like, "Hey, I'm waiting for something to come." Like I always see the Flutter waiting on everything, checking the documentation. So, and if I'm to talk about the learning curve, I think the learning curve of Kotlin, specifically for a young dev who hasn't tried to do some coding, the learning curve is not easy. It's a little bit higher than that of Flutter.
It's a little bit more steeper.
A little bit more steeper.
Sure.
Because you have to know how the JVM works, you have to know all those little basics. And most especially now for someone like me who has been developing for Android for over 3 years. So that means if I'm to go for Kotlin Multiplatform, it will be quite easier. Because now the only thing that differentiates from an Android native app and a Kotlin Multiplatform app is that there are different SDKs that you have to remove, like context-specific libraries from Android, and then you mix them with cross-platform libraries, and then you also create other modules within the project to come up with the cross-platform application. So I think Kotlin world is a bit also so bigger. So even if I'm to go deep, I
don't know how quite interesting it is, but I don't know how much experience you have in Flutter, per se. Because I also tried to look at your code base in Kotlin, and I'm like, okay, quite so many similarities. Short annotations compared to maybe simple functions in let's say Flutter. But there's something that comes in. You heard of the term framework?
I've ever heard of it. I don't go deep into it.
Sometimes I get this idea. Okay, this is something that just started growing up in my mind, and I just feel like these respective companies that deal in these technologies, these guys try to make their tools in such a way that it is hard for the developers to migrate to using their tools to
the other tools. So I remember, I think it was last year when we had this gentleman. He was like, "Hey, have you ever tried Flutter framework?" And then I tried to look into the code. When you're dealing with an object-oriented language, like for example, first I went into Java, then I went into Kotlin. So in most cases, like the way the syntax is, it is quite similar. Though if you're dealing with Flutter framework, I was like, it's something so new. Unless I'm to use an AI agent, I could.
Still, okay, your
So able to the new users that we have, or to those who would like to enter into the tech space or even programming or building applications, there's this trend that is moving around as we introduce ourselves and we're starting the podcast, that AI has come and we cannot avoid it. It's here to stay, and the more you embrace it, the more you get higher chances of maybe moving forward ahead in some steps or something like that. And nowadays I've noticed young devs don't want to code. I don't know if you also see it. Ask it. You're among them.
I'm not saying I don't code. Okay, it is kind of there's that push you have inside you. Okay, like if you can manufacture code character, let's say you want to find a very simple application to just track your activities within the day, like the time that you have like a screen. There are so many widgets that are common across the screen, and you don't want to write it like too much. So like functionality, I'm seeing an application where you're doing like more than where you have an admin and you have a super admin. Like you start writing code like
so maybe apps with many roles,
like apps with many roles, but those roles they have like similar functionality.
I get
and there are also screens which are a bit similar. And anyway, even if it's different, I would argue that working with AI just puts you like,
yeah, sort of. But now I was in, there is a certain occasion I was in, and then there's this guy, it's called Tim Abel. He happened to come at our university. And then he talked of this thing of making AI do more than what you could do. That literally nowadays people use AI to do work that could be done by 10 people. Just imagine you wake up one day and you're like, you know what? I would like to build maybe a to-do-list application. Then you have coding gadgets like Firebender, you have Gemini, you have Studio, you have Task Copilot. So you could just go, hey, you write a prompt, and boom, 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 boom. After some time, just giving a what? A to-do list, and yeah, you have an application and you're good to go. So this means that it kind of improves the speed. Though now here is the catch: like you can have a good product whether in minutes or even in one day, but the question is, can you maintain it? Or if it gets a bug, now just imagine making WhatsApp and you're using an AI, and then you ship it, people use it. That's what I'm looking forward to.
It's fine.
And so before we close, and I would like you to give a catching word, or the advice that you could give to our fellow young devs like us, or even those who are better than us. Sometimes, like we can learn good new things from each other. What advice could you give them? There's someone there deep, he wants some motivation to start programming, irrespective of AI coming in. What advice do you have for him or her?
Okay, actually, one of those exciting parts of the podcast that I have just something short to say. The first one is that, and that now. You can't wait for tomorrow.
You can't wait for tomorrow.
And the more you delay, the more you have to catch up. So the time to start now.
Oh wow, that's really good. And there's someone who's motivating right now, I know. Okay, now I think for me right now, I'm like if you're to build something right now, just go get your PC, run it around, download whichever IDE, start programming. The time is never too late for you to change or to solve a problem out there. That's what software developers do. And yeah, I look forward to it, to seeing you rise up the ladders. I remain Mukumi Anthony, Kotlin developer and
Abel.
a Flutter developer. Okay, thank you. See you next time.